Yo, yo, yo. How's it going, everybody? How we doing today? Everybody good? Good, good, good. This membership feeling is unmatched. Oh my, yeah. Forgot about that. I forgot about that. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Good morning, good afternoon. Let's go 50, Johnny. What's happening, people? How we doing today? How are we doing? I know we have a match today. What happened? I woke up this morning and all I could still think about was just, you know, Wednesday. I can't think about anything but it. It's all I can do. But we do have a match today. And it is actually, to me, an important one. Um, not because of the points, not because of the result, not because of what will happen. Finally joined the Patreon yesterday. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Make sure you got that linked up to your Discord so we see you over there. I don't care about the result, but I care about the performance because Ruben cares about the performance. You know what I mean? Like he cares. He cares so much about his firm belief here is that we need to do well in order to be good enough. Like we need to do well in order to do well in the next game. You know what I mean? Um, Big deal. Cheeto didn't even travel. Cheeto didn't even travel. We're so serious. The kids aren't even allowed for this one. You know what I mean? But his view is very very strongly. We've got to perform in this one. He wants them to prove it. He wants guys earning their spot in the final. Because look, let's be real for a second, okay? Whether we win or lose the final, what determines it? It's not going to be tactics to me. It's not going to be anything else. It's a final. It's whether the players show up or not. And that's what he wants to know. Who will show up for us? Right? That's the question today. That's the question he needs an answer to from these players. We will see who lied. He didn't even travel. He didn't even travel. Unless I'm mistaken. Any improved confidence from Mazda to United boss? No, because obviously Madrid are still trying to fuck around with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Teams out strong. Yeah, I'm trying to pull this thing up here. Where's Cheeto, my dude? Where's Cheeto? Where's Cheeto here? Let's pull it up. It's not the full group of starters, but it's strong. Let's pull it up. I'm gonna fill it in here now. It's very very strong. It's let's see, Mount and Bruno. Mount and Bruno as the, wait, no, sorry. Who's the midfield? Is it Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, wait. So he's got Ahmad in the tens. Hold on. He's got Ahmad in the tens today. Miscommunication. It happens. He's got Ahmad in the tens today with Bruno and Casemiro. If I'm not mistaken, Shaw at wingback. Um, Dorgu, Lindelof, Mazraoui, no, Maguire, and Maz. We could field it in the final. Yeah, we could field it in the final. There's things about it I like a lot. Um, we could field this in the final. Um, but I'm not sure with that we will necessarily. I think because you got to bear in mind something, right? Um, um, hold on one sec. Because I don't think it's the full final lineup. Realize because you only have 5 subs here, and that means you're gonna have to sub off 5 people. And you're taking a fairly big risk with the other 5, right? Terms of minutes, terms of fitness, things like that. You think that Maz is right wing back with Shaw at center back? I sure hope not. That would be really like if it was like this. I would be much less confident. This is a much worse team, just with that little change. I mean, maybe it is, because of the fitness issues with Shaw, right? But I'd be much less confident with this than the other way we had it, much less confident. But it's strong. Look, this is 11 players who can start. But it's also 5 guys are going to have to play 90 minutes, right? So you're looking at the ones that he's willing to risk for 90 would be either a combination of the players he's not worried about getting injured or the players who won't be starting in the final. And my guess will be Højlund will play 90. Bruno will play 90 because he's not an injury risk. Højlund will play 90 because he may not start in the final. That would be my guess. Dorgu, because I think he got limited minutes recently, will play 90. He also may not start in the final. There's a chance. Casemiro has barely played in 10 days. He could play 90. It's 5 days away, so he could play 90 because he's barely played. So I'd put him over here with Bruno. Who's your other guy playing 90 minutes? Lindelof maybe, because he may not start in the final. So I would separate it like that. Bruno and Cass, I'd be surprised if Mount, Ahmad, Mezraoui, Shaw, Maguire weren't subbed in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised to see these 5 guys stay on for 90 because these guys may not start and these guys can probably handle it. You know what I mean? That's what I think. That's what I think. I think these 3 may not start and these 2 may not probably are okay. Casemiro hasn't played. But yeah, I hope it's I really hope though, personally, that it's like this for today. But we'll see, I guess. Riley, welcome. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Uncle Cass can't end the game on the pitch. Why not? He hasn't played in 9 days. It's 5 days away. It's not like he can't play 2 games in 5 days, 6 days apart, 5 days apart. He hasn't played. Ugarte's been playing every single game, and Casemiro's been getting on the bench in the midweeks. So he's got more legs in the tank right now. He should have a lot of legs, and he should have a lot of fresh legs, Casemiro. And with 5 days to recover, I don't think it's an issue as well. Yeah. Do I think Ugarte plays the final? Yes, I do. I think Garnacho plays the final too. I think those are 2 players who are both on the bench today that will play in the final. But I think they've both been overplayed as well. If you look at both of them, I think they've both played too much as well. But I don't believe necessarily that it's the that again that it is the necessarily the final team. Would you say Casemiro needs to be prepared to play 120? Right, and that means he needs to play. That means he needs minutes. It's definitely not the lineup for the final. You're just wrong. You're so full of shit. He's literally not picked the lineup for the final. You do understand that, right? He hasn't picked it. He hasn't decided it either. Why do you think Garnacho's not starting today? Fitness. I think it's fitness. I think a lot of it is fitness. I think that, again, you're talking about who's played some of the most minutes in there, those guys in there. So I'm fairly sure Garnacho will play in the final. Lindelof starts in the final. I don't know about that either. That really depends on Euro. That depends on Heaven, because you got to bear in mind, right? Who comes on? Okay. Aiden Heaven probably comes on. One of these guys. You know what is interesting? One of these guys is going to have to play center back. I'm trying to think. Somebody here is going to have to play 90 minutes at center back. But the other factors here, it's Mazraoui at right wing back. It could be. No, this is what I would prefer for sure. Someone mentioned that already, right? That it's probably like this. Um, it's probably like this, right? There's no here's the thing, right? Um, the problem you have here is a couple of things. One, can Mountain start 3 games in a row? Okay, that's why I think he is guaranteed coming off at 50, 60 minutes because if he performs well, then I think he will play in the final. If he's fairly anonymous, then it'll probably be Garnacho, and Garnacho will probably come on for him, and based on who performs better, they'll probably be picked for the final. It's up in the air. It's really interesting. I'm quite intrigued by how we do this. Mazraoui, Harry, Shaw, Mount, but how? How? And how? What players in the back? Let's say you take Mazraoui, Harry, and Shaw off, because I agree. Who can come on? We don't have the fit center backs for that, right? So what I'm wondering is, do Shaw and Lindelof play 90 and not in the final and not start the final? That's what I'm wondering. You know what I mean? Because then you could put Heaven on for Maguire. Collier, how's that fix us at center back? Collier's not playing center back. Anyway, we'll just have to see. I think we'll see a lot based on the performances and such. Ahmad 10 instead of right wing back. What? um, we'll just see. We'll see. I'm more curious about the subs. You know what I mean? Like I want to see the performance and I want to see the subs. That's what I want to see. I want to see the performance and I want to see the subs because I think that'll tell us a lot about his feelings. You know what I mean? About like who's gonna play where. Um, for sure. That's the question. That's what we don't have the answer to. This is a strong team with some decent players to come off of the bench, and then we'll find out what they do. You can put Heaven, Fredrickson, Almas, Mainu, and Garnacho subs. No, I don't think so. I think it's pretty obvious that Garnacho, Mainu, Ugarte, and Heaven will be the main substitutes that we have to consider here. So, yeah. Ugarte on and Casemiro to center back? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. The players I think will be subbed are definitely like Mount and Ahmad because you can't risk them. They like Mount hasn't I don't think has 90 minutes and Ahmad you can't risk. Um Mazraoui probably's got to come off. I mean, he's been in the danger zone for a while, but then again, we have had almost a week off finally, so maybe he's fine. Maybe he's fine now. You reckon we surprise everyone? Well, that's the other thing too. Delict, Euro, Dallo, Xerxes. I think we're gonna have more than a few of them in. Um, yeah, yeah. This is the lineup. I mean, there's some debate over where Shaw would play in this team, but I think this is probably what it is. Yeah, it's a good team. It's a good team. I'm happy with the team for today. Um, hmm. Sub Shaw, Mount, Ahmad, Casa, Maguire. Shaw, Mount. But then you got to have Maguire play 90 minutes. I mean, you can, but he's all you can probably play. Like who played in our last game? Hang on, who played in our last game? Who played? Yeah, like I'm just like who played last? Who were the guys? Now I literally can't even remember. Probably because I was flying and traveling and all sorts of shit as well, but the game is confused to me. Let's see. Hoyland, Mount. So it's 2 starts in a row for them. Bruno, as always. So Maguire didn't play last game, but Mazraoui and Shaw did, but Dorgu didn't. Interesting. No, I can almost guarantee you it won't be our starting 11 for the final. It will not. He's rotating in a while keeping the team strong, right? So I'm looking at it and saying, okay, so Maguire, he came on at 52 minutes. Dorgu came on at 59 minutes. So I'm thinking, yeah, these guys are all starting. These 3 are starting. Interesting. No, we won't see Kone or Cheeto today. I think Mazraoui definitely needs to be substituted, though. Shaw came off. I think that, yeah, I think I'm going to go with what I said before. I think these guys, Mount, Ahmad, Mazraoui, Shaw, will be substituted, and then one other. And these are probably the guys. I don't know. Don't know yet. We will find out. Dorgu is a right wing back. I don't know yet either. We don't know on that front either. Any news on Delict or Yoro? No, not yet. Not yet. Not at all. Yeah, hoping to get the advantage of being sharper, which I like. I like this approach. Like even if it's 8 of our starters or 9 of our starters for the final, it's great. That's what I like. Minimum, I would say it's 9 of our starters, right? For sure. Like who's definitely starting the final in this team? Who's definitely starting? Onana, Maguire, Bruno and Casemiro, 4, Ahmad, 5. You gotta think Mazraoui with how much he's been relying on him. That's why I think he's for sure gonna get subbed today. So that would be 6. Um, Mount, I don't think that that's nailed on at all. I think it's gonna. I think Mount's one playing for his spot today. I think Mount is playing for a spot today. That's what I think as well. I think he's playing for a spot, which is good. I would say like here's my confirmed players for the final, okay? For me. But just based on how he's selected. And here I mean here's your guys playing for a spot. It could be this could be the 5 subs, you know. But is Amos on the bench? Is Amos on the bench? I missed that part. Let me see. He is. Okay. And Fredrickson and Heaven. Okay. Manu, Ugarte, Garnacho, Heaven, Fredrickson, Amos. Ooh, okay. I think we'll learn a lot with our subs then. So like I think that no, I'm not saying these aren't the subs. You can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee you anything. You can't guarantee anything. What I can guarantee you is that Ruben Amorim hasn't decided on his final team yet. I promise you that. I promise you that. It's not how he is as a person. So don't guarantee anything. Don't guarantee shit. The only thing you can guarantee is the guys he always selects are playing, and that is these 6 that will always be selected for the big games. Otherwise, you can't guarantee anything. None of us can. Mount to score against his old club. Yeah, I reckon we'll get Garnacho for Mount at some point. I reckon Hoyland will probably play the whole game. So I think we'll get Garnacho for Mount. I bet Heaven for Shaw, who has a chance at starting in the final, in my opinion. Like, so Heaven and Garnacho will come on, and they'll be competing to see who can start. Fredrickson will probably come on for maybe like Mazraoui, I would suggest. I don't think Fredrickson will be competing for a start, though. And then Dorgu could easily come off for Amos. Why do people have to be subbed off? Because it's the end of the season. Even 5 days apart. It's about risk. 60 minutes, 70 minutes, that's good for the legs. The 70 to 90 period, that's injury time. The last 20 minutes of the game is injury time. That's when you're running the most risk of injury. Heaven probably come on as a sub, yeah. If he's in the squad, why wouldn't he play? He can come on as a sub, get minutes under his belt. That's kind of the idea. But 60 minutes is ideal. After that, that's when you start running the risk of injury. I think Ahmad will come off. I think Mazraoui will come off. So then I think you might get like Amos, Fredrickson, Heaven, Garnacho, and then maybe Casemiro for Ugarte. Maybe one of these guys could stay because they may not play in the final. Interesting. I'm really curious to completely overanalyze and get everything completely wrong about what we do in this game and what it means for the final. I'm so ready for that. I'm so ready to do that. That's part of the fun. Overanalyze it and be totally wrong at the end of it. That's the best. That's the best. That's the best thing. That's my favorite thing in all of football, because if you can handle that, it makes it a lot more fun. If you can handle being wrong, it makes things a lot more fun. No, I'm good with the lineup. I'm very, very happy. Very happy. I think we're doing the right thing by going strong as well. 100%. I think we're doing the right thing. I think we are doing the right thing by going strong. I mean, when you think about it, right? Like, when you think about it, do you guys remember like most of our performances after the international break? Does this rule out Ahmad starting for? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. It doesn't rule anything out. But yeah, I mean, if you think about results, I'm curious here. Going back to our games, because I always feel like we're bad after breaks. You know what I mean? What was our first game? After the break. What was our first game after last break? Forest. Yeah, I mean, look. Our first game after the last international break was Nottingham Forest. We were so cold in that game. So that's one example. We were 2 weeks of not playing and then came back and we were poor in that game. Wasn't a good performance. I still don't think we should have lost, but it wasn't a good performance. What was the last break before that? We had 9 days in between Leicester and Tottenham, and then we lost to Tottenham. The last game we lost to Tottenham, we had 9 days in between. There's another example. The last time we had a big break. Well, it's hard to give much examples by way of otherwise because there hasn't been that many breaks, have there, huh? And then the prior break to that was Ipswich. We drew to Ipswich in Amram's first game, and we were really shit that game too. We could go back into Ten Hag's era as well. We did beat Brentford after a break. That's like our only good performance after a break. Yeah, I would say we tend to be bad coming from the cold. You know, I think we do tend to be pretty poor when we come in from the cold. That would be my opinion anyway. Like when let's see, Spurs. I'm curious. Since we're here overanalyzing absolutely everything. Because what else is there to do? Because yes, I am extremely agitated for the final. No fucking doubt about that. When was their last break? Here, look. They lost to Chelsea right after their last break, 1-0. It's like one of the few games they didn't score in. They lost right before the break too, funnily enough. Let's see. What else? When was the last break in between? Here. They lost to Alkmaar when they had like 9 days off. So they've also lost both games after their breaks. We've all lost so many games though that it makes it hard to tell. What else? When else have they had a big break? They've had the same manager, so it's a little easier to look at. Let's see, after this break. They beat Man City 4-0. That's not good. After a break. But who scored in these games? All right, let's see. Kulishevsky assist, he's out. Madison got 2 goals, he's out. Nice. So there's 2 of their main players from that game who are out. All right, okay. Cool. Yeah. Would you prefer Mbumo or Mastantuono next season? Within the context of what we're doing, Mastantuono for sure. I don't know who's starting at wingbacks. We don't know actually. We'll have to see based on warm-ups and stuff. What do I think about Ten Hag going to Leverkusen? Good luck to them. Checkbook manager at a smaller club that runs a bit the opposite. So good luck to them. Shaw can't start. Well, maybe he won't start the final. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Spurs is no. They didn't even join the trip. They've left out Romero, Van de Ven, and someone from even joining the trip. They're not even subbing them. You can say Spurs are smart. The data says the opposite. The data says you don't play the data says the teams who don't start at least like it's like under 6, I think was the number. Like the guys who are starting 3 to 5 players beforehand, at less than 6 win like 30% of the time. It's a huge mistake in my opinion. That's not going to make me feel any better. But it's a big mistake. I think we're doing the right thing. I think we've got 8. I think we have between 8 and 11 starters on for the final right now. He hasn't been able to play as wingback though. I would agree with you, Nice, but he hasn't been able to play at wing. If he can't play at wingback, he's not one of our better center backs. That's my opinion. But he could start the final. Why not? Hold on, let's go back again. Why couldn't he start the final? He could play 60 minutes every game, can't he? Why can't he start the final? If he can't stay healthy enough to play 60 minutes every few days, then whatever. I understand that we won the 2017 one that way, but we also completely rested before the 2021 and we lost. The one we won against Ajax was one of the only examples of a team resting everybody beforehand and succeeding. But it's still, by the numbers, the lower percentage chance. It was also an awful game. I mean, do you guys remember that final? Do you guys remember the final against Ajax? um, do you guys actually remember that game? Um, It was bad. Like, do you remember our game against Ajax? I know we got it done, okay, in Jose fashion, but we were playing an extremely, extremely young Ajax team, and the performance was really bad, but we pulled it off. We fully parked that bus in a way only Jose could, you know what I mean, to get through that game. So like, while it's an example of winning, I don't think we can play that bad. And I don't think we could play that bad and that cold and beat Tottenham in a final. Like, we're gonna have to attack them. That's the way you beat Tottenham. We can't be boring. There's no way the game against Tottenham is boring. Okay. Um, there's just no way that a game against Tottenham will be boring because one way or another, someone's fucking up massively. I'm not saying performances don't matter in finals, but they kind of do. Like, you're obviously better off performing better than performing worse. Like, obviously performing better is still better. De Ligt and Onana were in that game, yeah, from what I recall, right? If I'm not mistaken. Obviously, like, win or lose, you'd still rather perform better than perform worse. We performed terribly. We did, but that was a really young, really inexperienced Ajax side. So, I don't think the game against Tottenham can be boring because Postecoglou doesn't know boring, like, you got to at least give him some credit for that. I'm not saying that it's good, but doesn't tend to be boring playing Tottenham. Like, they counter, they attack fast all game. Like, they're gonna do that. So you've got to hit them. Was the lob it over to Fellaini? Yeah, basically. Basically. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still, it doesn't matter. All that aside, I'm still nervous as hell for everything. While we're here, come join in the game. 45 minutes left. The link is below. I think. I'll check if the link is below. If it's not, I'll put it below. Um, and win an Ahmad shirt. Come participate, come play. Get your 5 players in, win points per the rules, and if you win, you will get the Ahmad kit. Go join. You still have time. Let me see if it's actually in the. Let me just go check if it's actually in the link below or not. Here, I'll put it in the chat anyway. It's safe. Let me pin it. There you go. Message pinned. Now you can come join the game and compete to win an Ahmad kit. You're already there waiting? Nice. Okay, cool. Good deal. Good deal. One Ahmad injury and Amarim risks the fan base. I don't know. I get that, but it's silly. It's really silly. What are you supposed to do? Not play players? Like, Ahmad could have got injured last week. He could have got injured in the second leg against Bilbao. He could have got injured. Like, he could have got injured any of the games he's played since he's coming back and been out for the final. Any injury in the last month is a big risk, right? So what do? You don't play them for a month? Like, there's no more odds of him getting injured now. The big odds you have is if you don't play them, you're more likely to get injured in the final and get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I would for sure limit his minutes, and it would be a disaster, but so what? Like, what are you gonna do? Him not playing isn't gonna help for the last few weeks. It's not gonna help. I get it. You might be thinking like, well, if he doesn't play today, at least we're sure to have him for the final, which is fair enough. Yeah, Mountain Shaw got injured in. Well, that's the hilarious part, right? That's the hilarious part, right? We have more injuries in practice than we do in training. It's been that way for years. I mean, in games. We have more injuries in training than we do in games. Ahmad got hurt in practice. Mainu got hurt in practice. Collier got hurt in practice. Ugarte got hurt in practice. Right? Who got hurt in game? Like, I think it's like Delict. Like in the last, like, Delict and Heaven, right? We're like the two who got injured in Euro. So we have as many injuries or more in training as we do in games. It's like 4-3 or 4-4 over the last 2 months. So what are you going to do? Collective unconsciousness. Welcome to the Pro Muppet. Thank you, my friend, for joining. Welcome, welcome. Heaven got injured in training too. You're right. He actually was back and then he had a setback in training. It's kind of hilarious in when you think about that. There's other injuries some players are carrying too, but talk about that another time. I think Shaw got injured in training. Yeah. What are they doing in training? I don't know. Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, play in the matches, and you have a less chance of getting hurt than doing a lot of training. It's like 50-50, to be honest, No. Actually, though, McCon, our overall non-contact muscular injuries have gone down by almost half, believe it or not. Non-contact muscular injuries have gone down by more than half under Amorim to Ten Hag. That's a fact. You can go through the data yourself if you want. The crazy thing is we had these really bad contact injuries. Ahmad literally caught his ankle in making a tackle. It's a contact injury. From what I understand, both Collier and Ugarte, when they got hurt that week, it was a contact injury as well, which is kind of nuts. Lissandro's is a contact injury. Euros is not a muscle injury. Yeah, we've had very few non-contact muscular injuries actually a lot less. That's why we're not getting them in games the same way, where players are going down constantly with hamstrings and things like that. Xerxes is like I think the only one we've had in quite a long time, which is really sad, but it is what it is. We should make 6 subs and play with 10. How can you make 6 subs though? Oh no, yeah, no. You're good, McConnell. I figured it was somewhat sarcastic. It's all good. Yeah. I honestly can't believe it. Are they gonna overhaul the medical department with O'Driscoll going? I mean, they already have overhauled it, but yeah, we still need new doctors. Yes. Yoro is a weird one because it's not really a muscle injury. I don't know what you would call Yoro's injury because it still stems from his foot, which he arrived with that injury. You know what I mean? With that fracture in his foot, it still stems from his foot, as far as I understand. Some of those things can take a long time to heal, and sometimes they have different like flare-ups and things like that. So it's hard to say with one like that. Like, what is the actual like cause of it? Yeah, like a reoccurring thing. It was non-contact, but the cause is obviously different. It's like very random. It's not overwork, it's just weird stuff. Injection coming. That's what I think. My personal opinion is that Lenny and Xerxes will make it, and Dallo. I think all three are going to make it. I'm saying we can prioritize sharpness over fitness because we have a bench and Spurs don't. That's the other truth of it. We actually do have a deeper team, right? Because if you think about it, like, let's say the worst happen. Okay, no, I don't want to curse it. Let's say Mason Mount gets injured, right? Well, then you still have Garnacho, okay? Which we've been doing most of the season anyways, right? Like, we've been doing it through most of the Europa campaign anyway. So yes, we have options there. You've got, you know, who else do you have coming off the bench? You've got Ugarte. You've got Menu. You have like you have we have we have Garnacho, Ugarte. Like, look at how this could change, right? Like, even into a lineup. Forget injuries for a second. Forget negativity. No negativity. No negativity. You could run this out, and that's 3 changes. And this could be the starting lineup on Wednesday. It could. I'm not saying it will, but it could. Like, we do have options. We do have options. You could do this and hang on. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's our best team. But like, what was I doing here? Like, we'll probably have options come the final. You can run this team. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should. But like, I've changed 5-6 players and you still have some semblance of our first team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have some semblance of a first team with 5 or 6 changes. Sometimes the best way to prepare for a final is to compete. Yep, I agree with him. 100%. 100% agree. 100% agree. 100% agree. But that was his point. He was so mad about Sunday. What he does not want to do is limp into the final, like, not trying, not playing, not winning, not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he doesn't want us to do, where we're crap. Every game leading up to the final, we're barely even playing football anymore. That's what we don't want to do. It could come with risks. Yeah, but look, I just changed 5 players, and you know what? I still think the squad should beat Spurs with their health right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my point. I'm not saying this, like, would this be bet worse? Yeah, obviously not having Ahmad and such would be worse, but like, this squad I would still reckon beat Spurs, and I made 5 changes. So like, that's the point I'm making, is that we do have a deeper squad today, and we don't have a totally nailed on 11 even. So yeah, we're making a little bit of risk, but like, we're getting match sharpness, and the risk is a lot smaller than it is otherwise. I feel very, very strongly about that, because again, like, if you had 5 injuries, you could still field a team that should beat Spurs, in my opinion. And you'd have the match sharpness to go with it. So I really do think it is advantage us in that case. I really do. Yeah, their midfield situation is pretty tragic, yeah. Højlund playing almost every game in the run-up to the final just to be dropped. You were confident of beating Spurs? No, I don't think so, because remember the last time we played Spurs, I'm being quite serious about this. The last time we beat Spurs, or not beat, we played Spurs. The last time we played Spurs, I don't think anybody was confident. Remember, we had nobody healthy. Remember, I've shown this a couple times, but you remember our bench here? Let's go pull it up again really quick. You remember our bench in that game? It was insane. I've never seen anything like it, and we still almost won. That was this game, though. This was this game. This was our bench. We got 3 minutes out of Cheeto off the bench. against pretty much not a full strength Spurs, but close. A lot of players on there. Ruben Amorim, people don't understand how things are changing in Territon and our club, how many things are happening at the same time. Let's finish the season and then we'll see. Yep. Lindelof babysitting the kids, exactly. Like, hello. But yeah, and I think we still should have gotten back into this game at minimum. When we had the momentum, we just couldn't score at the end. But no, I don't know. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good, but I really want to see who performs today because they've got to earn it. They all have to earn it. They all have to earn it. Yeah, they've got to earn it. I think it'll be a tough matchup against Chelsea today, to be fair. I don't even think we have to win necessarily like Sydney. Like, obviously a win would be great. I don't think we have to win, but we do have to perform. Because let me reset the lineup. I don't think we have to win for it to be a success. I don't think we have to win to feel good about this game. But what I do think is that we have to. What am I missing? Ahmad. We have to perform, We have to perform. We have to see energy. We have to see intensity. We have to see players doing really well. We have to see some of these guys putting in a good performance. And the same goes for the subs because I doubt all 11 are going to perform well. And whoever isn't performing, the sub needs to come in and hit the ground running, you know what I mean, and make something happen. So I want to see performance from some of these guys. Mostly. That's the most important thing. I think who are your question marks? Mine are Mount, Højlund, Dorgu, and Shaw. I guess Lindelof, not really. I think that's just a question of fitness. These are the guys that I think are working for their spot right here. I think Lindelof is quite literally just about if anybody's fit or not. I think these are the four working for their spot. Because it could very easily be this, right, in the next game. And then one of Dorgu and Shaw on the left. Højlund, Mount, Garnacho competing for two spots here with Ugarte in there could very easily be the next, like the lineup. Like I'm saying, this can be the team. You know what I mean? Like I think Dorgu and Shaw could be competing for here, or technically they could be competing for not competing with each other, but competing with like Mount, for example, to see who plays in the front. Like there's a lot of different computations here that could come into play, but I think these are the guys who have to perform the most is these guys right here to see if they're going to play in the final. That's what I think. You don't think Dorgu should start? And that's an interesting one to me, McCon, because I've kind of felt the same. Like my default setting would be that this is the team next week. And these are the three players competing because of health. Obviously, like I would pick somebody else here if it was up to me, but like if Heaven was healthy, stuff like that. I would start with this team, and then these are the three guys, competing. Højlund, Mount, Dorgu, Garnacho, and Ugarte, and Menu. Those 6 players competing for 3 spots. That's how I would kind of see it. And that's how I'm going to look at it in this game. Now, obviously, look, if one of these guys like completely shits the bed, that changes things, right? That changes things. But I'm just saying, like, this would be kind of my default. Like, if Shaw's fit and gets through the game without a disaster, then I think that I think Ugarte and Cass are nailed on. I think so too, Naveen, but we'll see. We'll see. I do think that's mostly the attack. Like I'm being real in my opinion, and some people are really not gonna like it, because of this thing about this thing. You know what I mean? Um, which is fine. But I'm fairly confident this will be like 8 who play, and then it'll be Shaw or Dorgu, which could change this too, right? Because it could do this, and then Dorgu could play over here, and then you really just have one player competing up front. So it's like Mount or Garnacho or Hoyland or Mainu are mostly the guys competing to me. Yeah, Mount or Garnacho I think is definitely a big debate, a huge debate. I think that's probably the biggest question mark in the whole thing. I think that's the biggest question mark in the whole thing is Mount or Garnacho or neither. You know what I mean? Like, because it could be neither. It could be like this with Dorgu over here. Like, there's so many ways that it could play out, but I do think it's mostly in the front line. It's the attackers. It's Mount, Garnacho, Hoyland, Mainu, and technically like Dorgu, kind of all competing for positions. Shouldn't be a debate if Mount is fit. Mount has been invisible in games though. Like, all right, let's go back here. Like, let's take a look. Like, I don't. Obviously, I think Mount is a better player. You've heard my critiques of Garnacho many times, but at the same time, hold on a second. Like, at the same time, Mount started on Sunday. I don't remember a single thing he did all game. Like, was he not just as much to blame for our crappy performance as everybody else on the pitch? Sorry, I messed up my keyboard. He's had many games being fairly invisible, as well. And he was, to me, invisible on Sunday. I don't even remember him playing. I'm not going to lie to you. I genuinely do not remember him playing. But I would still lean towards playing him. You know what I mean? I get it. But I also think Mount is a better sub than a starter. You know, his impact has been more as a sub, hasn't it? If we look at his game log, how do I do that? Let's see. Let's look at Mason Mount for a sec. Let's see. Sub, right? Starter, he didn't do anything. Sub. Did he start versus Brentford? He did start versus Brentford though, didn't he? And he got a goal that game. But this was a sub. This was a start. This was a start. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Invisibly is overpowered. Runs in behind the center back. Garnacho's clearly well ahead of all of that. Mount's great off the bench first time. Look, the problem is that like both Mount and Garnacho to me are better off the bench against tired legs when their movement is harder to deal with. But then who do you sub them on? Who starts? I don't know. I think we'll find out today. Mount has to make an impact today. I think if Mount scores or makes a big impact today, he starts the final. But then, could Garnacho start over Rasmus Højlund? I still think so. Remember, I think, what was my team? What was the team I picked? Whoa. I dragged Mazraoui's head out of here. What was the team I picked? I said, what did I want? I wanted... Wait. What did I say? Yeah, hold on. Let me get this right. I think this was the team I wanted. Personally, for the final. This is what I wanted for the final. Barring Euro's health and Heaven's health, obviously. That's the team I want for the final. Mount, Garnacho, Bruno, yeah. That's the team I want for the final. I think that's the best team we could field for the final. Because you can also look at Højlund and say maybe he's better against tired legs, which I think is also true. So, yeah. Who knows? But yeah, I'm watching. Let's just go back one more time, and then I'll end it, and we'll all get going to get ready to watch the game. I'm watching Mount, Shaw, and Dorgu today, mostly, and Hoyland. Excuse me. Mount. These are the guys I'm watching to see how they do. These four right here. I think these four are playing for their position. I think Lindelof it's just fitness. I think it's Lindelof is just fitness, depending on who's fit or not. But these are the four I think are competing most for their spot in the final. So I want to see big performances from them. Maybe they all earn it, and maybe it ends up being the team for the final. I'm starting to sense a theme. Our players are only good against tired legs. You know what that means, McCon? You know what that means, unfortunately? It means they're not very good. It means they only are good when they have an advantage because the other player's tired. So they're good when other players get worse. It means they're not very good. It's a little bit of the myth about these like super subs. Super subs are just not good players. It means they're not that good. Super subs are players who are not good enough to start, but they're in the in between bracket where they still have something to show, but they're not good enough to show it all the time. It's the super sub myth. But there's unique cases. There's unique cases, okay? There's unique cases. They aren't even good then. Yeah. There's unique cases, okay? Where for whatever reason they're just like they're good at certain things. Like Ollie was a super sub. But that being said, hold on. I'm actually now you've driven me up in terms of curiosity. Because Solskjaer's obviously like the main one, right? Do not slander Chicharito. My question for you is, oh, fuck off. Sorry. Apologies. I mean, Solskjaer, to be clear for a second, though, like, I think there can be a bit of a myth, right? Which is like, if you take Solskjaer, he averaged 60 minutes per game. So it's not like he was just a sub. I mean, obviously he made an insane impact as a sub, but if you compare his minutes to games played, he averaged 60 minutes. So he wasn't like just a sub. Obviously, he had to be starting to do better. In the Champions League, he averaged 47 minutes. So there he was a bit more of a sub, right? But in the Premier League, I think Solskjaer probably started more games than he was a substitute, I would imagine. And obviously competing with some of the best in the world. Like that's the other factor too, right? Is like, yeah, he started and scored a lot. Yeah, like it's not like he didn't play. It's just they had depth, so there's rotation, and he was really great as an impact sub also. But you know what that really means in that case um, is that Solskjaer was good enough to be a starter, so he was even better as a sub. Does that make sense? And that's different too, right? Like if you have a guy who's good enough to be a starter, but you have so much depth that they have to be a sub, then they're going to be a super sub. And that's probably what a real super sub is. It's a guy who should be a starter, but who's in a team with enough depth that they can come off the bench. That's a super sub. The guys who aren't good enough to be starters but make an impact off the bench are just guys who aren't good enough to be starters. We've defined super sub. We figured it out. All right. Maybe that was already known, you know. Maybe everybody knows that, and I'm just a dumb American, but still. Anyway. All right. I'm gonna end it here. Hope you all have a good one. Enjoy the game. Go get your picks in. A few minutes left. Links pinned above. I will be live on Big Up in 10 minutes to get going. Okay, for the match. Have a good one, everybody. I will see you later. Come join the watch along if you would like. Have a good one, buddy.